As you likely already know, the economy is, and video games usually aren't your first financial priority. But luckily for us, we are living in the free-to-play game golden era. Since I have the blessings of the gods of fate and time, I'm creating this series as a way to help people find out about free games of all different genres to help distract themselves with as the world continues to burn. Welcome to the free-to-play game review. And if I do this right, maybe you'll learn something new or find a new favorite little game to play. So let's get started. So this week's game is called Our Life Beginnings and Always, and this game is a free-to-play romance visual novel that drew me in with its promise of near full customization. If you're a regular here, then you probably already know that I love dating sims, so I'm basically always ready to check a new one out. Our Life was developed by GB Patch Games, an indie game development company that's been active since 2015, and it was released in November 2020. Great timing, I think. Similar to Grimm's Hollow, before playing this game, I couldn't find out a lot about the development, but after playing it, I got really interested in its story, so I went to go look it up. So Our Life was a Kickstarter project by GB Patch Games, who had already developed 4 visual novels prior, which I absolutely am going to make time to play after playing this one. This game was funded in 10 hours, it says, which I think is pretty amazing. The project was launched in October 2019, so the game took overall about a year to develop. So yeah, that's really cool. Also, a lot of the features that are available are actually due to how much the Kickstarter made. I had sort of been taking a step back from the internet for the past, I don't know, like 10-ish years basically, so I'm not super familiar with how these like Kickstarter game projects work. But I think I was able to gain a lot of insight as to how this kind of thing works by just browsing the Kickstarter page for this game. So yeah, I thought that was really cool and I just wanted to add it in. But yeah, back to finding out about the game. So I basically found it from the Steam list by searching for kind of like the highest rated, kind of like most recent. I can't 100% remember, but it definitely had a lot of positive reviews, so I decided to give it a shot. And I was super glad that I did. In fact, I was so taken by this game that I entirely forgot that I was supposed to be reviewing it, which is kind of why this video took so long to come out. I spent 11 hours playing through it twice. The first playthrough, I think, took about 5 or 6 hours, and I just had to start up a new save file right after completing it. This game isn't just near fully customizable. It really takes your every dialogue choice into consideration. You can tell that the developers really love like otome games and visual novels or whatever. They really went above and beyond in creating their own accessible and inclusive version of one. I spent way too much time with this game compared to the others on the list, and it was such a nice vacation for my daily grind of open-world RPGs and gacha games. It was like totally immersive. I would definitely recommend it to anyone who's interested in a life simulator where you get to grow up on a beach with 2 loving moms and a cute sulky neighbor. I don't even think you have to be attracted to men to play it, since there's so many options to just be like friendly and whatnot, so it's totally safe for people who are asexual as well. Honestly, I've never really gotten to play a dating sim like this where the focus is really more on telling this like coming of age story. Usually my dating sims have like stamina and gems too, so this was such a welcome retreat from all that. Just spending the day completely immersed in a realistic and believable world. No time travel, no currencies, no weird cliffhangers all the time. I mean, if you play some of those mobile sims, like you'll know. You'll understand those otome games. It's like cliffhanger after cliffhanger, and sometimes you have to wait months for more of the story to come out. So yeah, just being able to play through the whole story just felt so great. It was such a relief. Alright, well, yeah, so because I feel like I could probably just talk about this game forever, and I probably will talk a lot about it in the ratings, let's just move on to the ratings, okay? So how free is Our Life Beginnings and Always? So this is the first game that I'm going to be reviewing for this series that is going to have less than 5 hearts. Even though the game is completely free and you can absolutely play it all the way through and enjoy it to the fullest without spending any money, my compulsion to spend money on this game, it's like, you know, I really want to buy some of the DLC for it. So the thing is about this category, I guess I'll just kind of talk about it a little bit now. Like, it's not just like, is the game free or not? It's also like, how compelled do I feel, right, to spend money on it? Or how much do you actually have to spend in order to like get as much of the story or as much of the content as like you feel like you kind of deserve or whatever. And I just feel like I could justify spending money on this game so easily. So you can buy DLC for each of the stages. So in this game, the stages are like different parts of your character and the romance interests lives or whatever. So say you want to buy DLC for like stage 3, that's like when you're kind of like a older teenager. I think that's when you like just get out of high school. So that, for me personally, like, oh, that sounds like a fun time of life to get more content of or whatever. So yeah, I gave it 4.5 hearts out of 5, because even though you can absolutely get, you know, 6 to 8 hours of content out of it, more even, I would say, if you're trying to get like a bunch of different endings, like, or rather a bunch of different scenes, I guess I should say, go on a bunch of different routes. Like, I don't know, I just want to buy stuff, you know. Like, if I were to review some of the games that I play on my phone, like the how free is it, right, it would have to be like 3 hearts, right? Because like, even though it is completely free and I don't have to spend money, it's just like, I want to so bad, okay? And this is coming from like a self-proclaimed, you know, kind of like a bit of, not like a gacha addict, you know what I mean, but like a gacha connoisseur, right? So yeah, 4.5 out of 5, because I think I could delay the spending. It's not like I've bought the DLC yet, you know what I mean? It's just like, I plan to, so it's not that unfree, I guess. Thanks for that. All right, so moving on to playability. So playability, I'm gonna give this game a 5 out of 5. Because of the weight that your decisions have, like in the story, you're gonna be able to have a completely unique experience every time you load up a new save file. Literally every single choice you make affects the rest of the game. It not only affects like your own story, but it'll also affect like how the love interest looks and how he acts and stuff, which I think is really cool. And it'll also affect different events and whatnot, right? So, and you can easily see like the weight of your decisions throughout the game. So that I think is really cool. It's a really cool function, right? I love choice-based like decision-making stuff in games, not in real life, but definitely in games. So it's also, you know, a point-and-click game. So ease of play, very easy. Anyone would be able to play it as long as they would be able to hit the space bar or hold the mouse or whatever. So yeah. Oh, and the dialogue, right? So this is another reason why playability is full hearts. Like, the dialogue even has tone indicators, okay? So if you can't necessarily like infer the tones of a written statement, then this little like color-coded options and stuff can help you out, which I think is really cool. That adds to the accessibility of the game as well. And there's a whole like accessibility menu, and I'll just show that on screen. Yeah, so playability, definitely super playable, okay? Really good. All right, moving on to the soundtrack, voice acting, and audio. So I'm gonna give this also 4.5 out of 5 hearts. So actually after I played it, I actually wrote it down as 4 out of 5, but you know what? I'm gonna say why I'm adding a little bit more. So I wrote a bunch of stuff, okay? And I'm probably only going to read half of it. At first, okay, when I first started playing the game, I was like, oh, the soundtrack, maybe it's like a bit cheesy or something, right? But then, okay, after playing through it a couple times, all right, it actually like perfectly lines up with the game. Okay, like, and some of the songs are so catchy, like I can hear them in my head right now. And it's actually been a few days, I think, since I played the game at all. So not only is the soundtrack super catchy, but it's also like, I don't know, some of the songs are kind of bops, you know, like it's not all that bad. I, you know, have like whatever standards for music or whatever, but like video game music, that is, of course. But yeah, I don't know. I guess at first, you know, like I wasn't like that impressed by it, but the longer I spend away from it, the more impressed I am by it, which I think is really cool. So I think that's important to know. Like, at first I didn't like it that much, but now I'm like, oh wow, no, actually, like that music's delightful and it's really like cute and comforting and stuff, you know, it's like wholesome. It's wholesome. They use a lot of cool instruments. It's like by the beach, right? The whole story takes place by the beach. So it's got like, I don't know, a lot of different like sounds, like little like, I don't know, xylophone, marimba, whatever. I don't know how to talk about music really. I just know how to appreciate it. So yeah, there's a lot of great sounds. But that's not all. There's actually a little bit of voice acting in the game as well. So it's that style of voice acting where, very like RPG feeling, where like not the entire line will be voiced, but the characters will like say something like, oh my God, if it's like a shocked statement or whatever, or if they actually are saying like, oh my God, or whatever, you know what I mean? So like a lot of the stuff that the characters say will have like one or two little lines or like a phrase or something voiced while their text is on screen. And I think they all did a really great job. There's tons of voice actors in this game, surprisingly. You can look at the little credits list or whatever. I thought that even though it's like kind of like sparse or whatever, it's just enough to help you like really dive in and get like fully immersed into the game. Obviously, like full voice acting is a very expensive thing, like but yeah, I think they did a great job of balancing that, like giving just enough. Oh, and so the main reason why it doesn't get full hearts is because I don't know, I didn't really hear like any sound effects in the game. Like no sound effects from like the interface, no sound effects from like clicking like start or continue or anything like that. Do you know what I mean? You know how there's like, usually when you click or whatever, maybe there's like a little bit of noise or a little bit of a whatever. Do you know what I mean? Am I being foolish? I was, I guess, expecting a lot more sound effects in the game. Even just from like clicking or like, you know, the text coming up or something like that. So I guess, yeah, the main reason why it wouldn't get full marks is because I thought it was kind of lacking in, you know, the extra frills or whatever that I've come to expect from lots of games. So I don't know. I don't really genuinely play like a lot of visual novels. A lot of my experience with anything like that would be mobile game related, and a lot of those have like noises and stuff. So I don't know. Maybe the PC versions kind of don't, and it's just me being ignorant of the standards or, you know, like protocol for the PC versions of visual novels. But I don't know. Anyway, that's my explanation for that. So let's move on to the story and concept. So this gets a 5 out of 5, okay? The story is just like so cute and so perfect, and the fact that the player gets like so much say and how it progresses really helps. The concept, at first, I have to say, I was a little weirded out by the thought of playing a game where you grow up and experience so much of your love interest's like childhood and life and whatnot, you know what I mean? But that's actually like the whole like selling point of the game once you know, get into it or whatever. It's not weird in any way. It's just like a really sweet and wholesome way of telling a story, you know, like it's it's really cute to have like, I don't know, so much like parental involvement in your life and in the I don't know, I didn't have like a life like this, okay? You know what I mean? So for me, as believable as this story is, it's also quite fantastic. And I think that that's really cool in a way, to make a reality kind of like so sweet and pure and wholesome that like it feels like fantasy. Yeah, I'm not really used to that in games, I guess. But yeah, so I also definitely, there were a lot of moments where I felt like I was going to cry, you know what I mean? Like I felt like the tears were welling up, and for many reasons, mostly just out of joy or happiness. And in real life, I kind of have a bit of trouble crying, so this was actually really nice for me, because any kind of piece of media, like any piece of media that can help me cry is very warmly welcomed in my life, since I know how important it is to cry a little bit here and there, you know, and unfortunately, I usually need help from movies or games or something to do that. Anyway, so yeah, I thought the story was great, and of course, I haven't even really gotten like the full story yet, right? Because I haven't bought the DLC. So yeah, I'm so excited to do that. Maybe I'll just review the DLC separately. Just because I like this game so much, I don't know, and I really want to talk about it some more. I won't get into it. I'm already taking up too much time for this style video, so we gotta keep this train rolling. So let's move on to the art, vision, and graphics. Okay, so I'll give this a 4.5 hearts out of 5 hearts. So I thought that the character designs were great. There's a huge range of character features and overall looks, vibes, like aesthetic, even though kind of, I don't know, for the most part, everyone's kind of sporty, except for this character who's kind of more my style, but also not at the same time, you know what I mean? Because you watch the characters grow up from like childhood, like into like adulthood, getting to watch those characters develop also like visually is really cool, because normally I think you only kind of get to see like, I don't know, maybe like a child version of a character and then the adult version, or like adult and old person, elder, whatever. Sorry. So watching them kind of grow between like a few years at a time, like I think it's like 4 years, kind of like that, maybe something like that, every 4 years maybe. It's so cool. It looks awesome. The art is good, not in a way where it's like technically the best character designs I've ever seen. However, the like mood really shines through the character designs. I think like the overall vibes really come through. I guess it's kind of a difficult thing to describe, but it really just matches up very well. Especially all the like I'm thinking about like all of the times that your love interest gets all like teary-eyed and stuff. I don't know. It's so cute. And overall, like the amount of it's not animated, right? But the amount of like shifts in like character, like how frequently the character design will change based on the conversation is a really nice touch as opposed to animation. I think they did really, really well in drawing like enough, you know, pictures to really match all these different types of moods and emotions and situations and stuff. So I think they did a really great job, and I think that their vision is very easy to see. It's just, they just wanted to make an Otome game that literally anybody could enjoy, where you get to live out the anime fantasy of crushing on your sweet crybaby shy little neighbor that you met on summer vacation in the park or whatever. And isn't that just what everybody wants ultimately? Not me personally, but I really enjoyed simulating it. Overall, Our Life, Beginnings and Always, I think gets a 4.7 hearts out of 5 hearts. I really liked it. I really want to spend money on it. And yeah, I played it for 2 whole days because I shirked, you're right, you heard that right. I shirked all of my regular responsibilities, all of my regular daily responsibilities so that I could just play this game. So I think that says a lot about it. Like with a lot of the other games, they were relatively like quick and easy to complete, but I think because this one was like a little bit longer, at least the first playthrough where I didn't skip dialogue and stuff because yeah, I'm like that. On the second playthrough, not on the first playthrough. But yeah, I loved it so much. I played the heck out of this little game and I can't wait to buy myself the DLC later this year. Yeah, cool. So, that's about it for our life. I really don't want these videos to be like extra long and stuff. I will most likely review the DLC as like a totally separate video, you know, like just for myself. Like I understand that this probably like isn't really like my usual subscribers like interest and stuff, but this is my interest, you know what I mean? And like at the end of the day, like this game review series is really for me as well. I'm looking for new games too, right? So I'm really happy I was able to find one that will give me like a new gameplay experience every time and that I can kind of rip through once I've done a couple times, you know what I mean? Like that skip dialogue option is so helpful if I'm just looking for like one new scene or something in a certain era. And I cannot wait to see what the DLC has. It adds what they said. I think they said it adds like, it just doubles the amount of like content for each stage. So I'm really, really excited for that because that means that my next playthrough will take, you know, like 12 hours or something, which just sounds great. I just love sitting down and reading, but like not reading anymore. I feel like I've read all the books, which I know is an absolutely terrible way of thinking, but I've burned myself out on reading actual books at this point, and now I just want there to be pictures with them the whole time. I'm regressing. But yeah, okay, cool. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for watching. Hey, have you played this game before? Maybe not, but if you're a new viewer, maybe you have. If there's anything you want to add, if there's any little details you think like other people should know about, please put them in the comments section so that other people can access that information and find it useful, hopefully. And yeah, I really liked this game. I can't wait to play their other games, but I am most excited to get the DLC for this one. Also, they will be having a new game coming out. I forgot what it was called, so I have to look really quick. But yeah, I put it in my wish list because I'm pretty excited to play anything that this developer puts out. I was really impressed with Our Life because it's kind of like the idealized form of a lot of the dating sims that you might play, like in general, right? Like you get to choose your own, you get to make your own character, right? Normally you're kind of like stuck in the role of being like this very plain looking girl or whatever, and you know, that can be pretty draining or annoying for a lot of people, myself included. Like, so it was really cool to be able to like, I don't know, even just like pick what clothes I wanted to wear to the little charity party. You know what I mean? There's just little things like that that make the game experience so much better for a lot of people. So yeah, I really liked it. I adored this game, and I'll be happy to play it again and again throughout the years, you know what I mean? Okay, where did it go? So the next GB Patch games that's going to come out is called Our Life Now and Forever. And I think, when was it listed? No clue. But it'll be so cool to play this one because, I don't know, this is autumn. This whole story is set in summer, but this game that's coming out, look at all the trees are orange and shit. So yeah, this looks incredible. I'm very excited for this game too. It's so sweet. It's so wholesome. Yeah, anyway. So that's my piece on Our Life. I thought it was so good. I love it so much. I can't wait to review the DLC. I don't care if people watch it or not. I'm just beyond happy that I was able to find something that just made me feel super good as the player. Like, some games make me feel terrible, you know? But this game just made me feel really good the whole time, so I really liked that. I love chasing that feeling. Yeah, so before I blab off too much more, because I'm definitely not speaking by the book right now, the next game that I'm going to be reviewing is actually the game that I looked at and it made me think I should start this series. So it's called The Shell of Permafrost, and it just looks so good. I don't know anything about this game. All I know is that I was just deeply entranced by this character, and I am so curious to see what this game has to offer me. So yeah, I'm very excited for that. I hope you're very excited for that too. I think it's like a typical kind of JRPG style RPG Maker game. So yeah, I hope you'll join me next time. I don't want to put a date on it. But yes, thanks for joining me today. I hope I'll see you again next time, and thank you so much again. Goodbye.